High in the wild, shifting landscapes of China, there are mountain worlds so extraordinary that even seasoned explorers struggle to describe them. These are places where geology, culture, and raw human courage collide, creating scenes that feel less like Earth and more like the pages of an ancient epic. Our journey begins at Baoquanfeilada, where adventurers clip onto razor-thin cables suspended over sheer voids. An extreme climb so daring that only the truly courageous dare to attempt it. Then we travel to Bailey Rhododendron, a breathtaking region where spring erupts in waves of vibrant color, transforming entire mountainsides into oceans of blooming flowers. And finally, we ascend the legendary Meiji Mountain, home to astonishing Buddhist grottos carved directly into vertical cliffs, an architectural miracle that has defied gravity for more than 1,000 years. Prepare to explore a side of China where nature challenges imagination and human ingenuity leaves its mark on the very edge of the impossible. Baoquanfeilada. Carved into the red sandstone cliffs of Henan Province, Baoquanfeilada is one of China's most extreme vertical playgrounds. These walls rise more than 1,000 feet straight up, their surfaces shaped by millions of years of river erosion and tectonic uplift. Today, travelers test their nerve on a via ferrata route, stretching nearly 1 mile along the cliff face, secured only by a steel cable anchored into the rock every few dozen feet. Each step onto the narrow iron rungs feels like hovering above a canyon of wind and mist. From these dizzying heights, the terrain unfolds in sharp ridges, hanging forests, and waterfalls dropping more than 200 feet into emerald pools below. Baoquanfeilada isn't just a hike, it's a scientific wonder of geology and a once-in-a-lifetime climb that pushes visitors into the raw vertical world of China's mountains. Mount Tai. Rising more than 5,000 feet above the plains of Shandong, Mount Tai is one of China's most studied geological landmarks. A granite giant formed over 2.5 billion years of tectonic uplift. Its most iconic feature is the central stairway, a legendary path of more than 6,000 stone steps carved by hand across centuries. Every day, waves of visitors climb this steep corridor, moving through forests, cliffs, and ancient temple gates. Near the summit, halls and pavilions built with timber beams and stone foundations stand on impossibly narrow terraces, some perched only a few dozen feet from sheer drop-offs. As crowds ascend, the mountain reveals its layered ridges, shifting cloud belts, and the golden glow that inspired emperors to come here for ritual sunrise ceremonies. Mount Tai is not just a hike, it's a living fusion of geology, architecture, and human endurance. Bailey rhododendron. Stretching across more than 100 miles of rolling mountains, Bailey rhododendron is one of China's most extraordinary ecological spectacles. Each spring, its valleys explode into color as more than 40 species of wild rhododendron bloom at once, painting the highlands with waves of crimson, pink, gold, and snow white. Scientists estimate that some trees here are over 150 years old, thriving in acidic soils formed by millions of years of weathered sandstone. During peak season, tens of thousands of visitors walk the winding ridge trails, stopping at natural viewpoints perched a few hundred feet above the forests. From these overlooks, the landscape resembles a living mosaic, an ecosystem so dense that botanists call it a 100-mile garden. As crowds gather to witness this short, brilliant season, Bailey rhododendron becomes not just a floral paradise, but a living laboratory of mountain ecology and biodiversity. Jiangxian. Carved from sandstone over tens of millions of years, the Jiangxian area in the East Taihang Mountains forms a maze of towering cliffs and blade-thin rock spires, some rising more than 1,000 feet straight up. Along these sheer walls, engineers have built astonishing narrow wooden walkways, just 2 to 3 feet wide, clinging directly to the rock. In some sections, the path switches to transparent glass panels suspended hundreds of feet above the valley, while other stretches rely only on hanging ropes that sway with every step. This extreme terrain has turned Jiangxian into a playground for adrenaline seekers. Visitors slide down long cliffside chutes, tackle free-hanging rope crossings, and leap from elevated platforms while secured by a single safety line. It's a rare place where geology, gravity, and human daring collide, an unreal mountain world sculpted for both science and adventure. Meiji Mountain. Rising from the Loess Plateau like a giant clay sculpture, Meiji Mountain is one of China's most extraordinary cultural landscapes. Its sandstone walls, formed over 25 million years, were carved by wind and water into smooth, vertical faces, perfect for the creation of the mountain's famous grottos. Beginning more than 1,500 years ago, artisans chiseled over 7,000 Buddhist statues directly into the cliff, some standing more than 30 feet tall. Suspended wooden walkways, anchored to the rock by hand-cut beams, zigzag across the mountain like veins of history. These narrow paths lead visitors through ancient halls, past delicate murals, and beside towering stone Buddhas that seem to watch over the valley. Meiji Mountain is not only a geological wonder, it is a living archive of faith, engineering, and artistry carved into the heart of the earth. Tianmen Mountain rises above Hunan Province like a gateway to another world. Its most iconic feature is Tianmen Cave, a colossal natural arch formed when a massive section of limestone collapsed nearly 180 million years ago. The opening towers, more than 430 feet high and stretches nearly 200 feet wide, making it one of the largest mountain arches on Earth. To reach it, engineers carved a serpentine road of 99 sharp bends, symbolizing the traditional path toward heaven. From the base, visitors ascend 999 stone steps straight into the arch, a climb that feels both scientific and spiritual. And for those who prefer to soar instead of climb, Tianmen's world-famous cable car line stretches nearly 5 miles across the valley, one of the longest high-altitude cableways on the planet, lifting visitors through drifting clouds toward the monumental arch. In the end, Tianmen Mountain stands not just as a geological wonder, but as a reminder of how nature and human devotion can carve pathways, both stone and spiritual, towards something far greater than ourselves. Longhu Mountain. Longhu Mountain in Jiangxi Province is one of China's most mysterious landscapes, where sheer sandstone cliffs rise more than 1,000 feet and curve into shapes carved by over 100 million years of wind and water. But its geology isn't the only marvel. These vertical walls hold one of the world's strangest cultural traditions: hanging coffins. Suspended dozens of feet above the ground, these wooden coffins were placed by the ancient Guyu people using techniques still not fully understood. At the heart of the mountain sits a Taoist temple complex dating back nearly 2,000 years, built directly into the rock and aligned with the mountain's dragon-shaped ridges. Visitors today walk wooden paths bolted to cliff faces, looking out over emerald rivers and towering pillars that seem to float in the mist. Longhu Mountain remains a rare place where geology, spirituality, and ancient mysteries are fused into one unforgettable world. The stone forest of Yunnan is one of China's most surreal landscapes, an ancient labyrinth of limestone towers sculpted over 270 million years. What began as a shallow sea was slowly lifted and carved by rain, wind, and groundwater, leaving behind razor-thin spires that rise as high as 100 feet, packed together like a frozen stone city. Geologists call this a karst masterpiece, where chemical weathering shapes rock into blades, arches, and vertical fins so sharp they seem engineered rather than natural. Travelers walk along narrow stone corridors that twist through the formations, sometimes only a few feet wide, creating a sense of wandering through a natural cathedral carved by time. Perched on one of the wider stone platforms is a small traditional pavilion, a lookout built centuries ago to honor the landscape's sacred character. From this elevated slab, visitors gain a panorama of thousands of gray pillars stretching to the horizon, each one catching the shifting light in a different way. Whether explored on foot or viewed from above, the stone forest stands as one of Earth's most astonishing reminders that nature can build worlds just as complex and imaginative as any human creation. Mount Heng. Mount Heng in Hunan is one of China's 5 great mountains, a geological backbone formed over 150 million years of tectonic uplift and erosion. Its ridgeline rises more than 4,000 feet, unfolding in layered cliffs and dense pine forests that give the peak its legendary, almost mythical atmosphere. What makes Hengshan extraordinary is its temple architecture, over 200 historic shrines spread across the slopes. The most iconic Nantai Temple sits on a stone platform engineered with ancient techniques that allowed builders to anchor wooden beams directly into the mountain's bedrock. Today, thousands of visitors walk the steep stairways and narrow mountain paths, creating a vibrant flow of pilgrims, hikers, and travelers searching for both scenery and spirituality. In winter, a thin blanket of ice and snow transforms the temples and pines into a shimmering white world, adding a quiet, sacred beauty to the summit. Mount Heng stands as a rare place where geology, history, and living tradition meet in perfect balance. Mian Mountain, rising more than 6,000 feet above Shanxi Province, is a geological masterpiece carved from ancient limestone cliffs, shaped over 200 million years. Its dramatic vertical walls create natural ledges and overhangs that seem impossible for any structure to cling to. Yet this mountain is famous for temples that do exactly that. The most astonishing are the cliffside sanctuaries, built using a rare cantilever technique where massive wooden beams are driven deep into narrow rock crevices. Some halls sit suspended hundreds of feet above the valley, supported by pillars barely thicker than a human arm. The engineering precision, long before modern tools, still leaves architects questioning how craftsmen aligned beams, platforms, and staircases at such perilous angles. Visitors today walk through winding stone paths, sky bridges, and steep stair corridors that hug the rock face. Each turn reveals murals, sculptures, and ancient inscriptions preserved by the dry mountain climate, creating a suspended world where architecture and geology fuse into one breathtaking spectacle. Mian Mountain remains a place where human devotion and impossible engineering defy gravity itself. Wuling Yuan. Wuling Yuan, in China's Hunan province, is a geological wonder shaped over hundreds of millions of years as sandstone layers fractured, lifted, and eroded into more than 3,000 needle-thin pillars. Some rise over 600 feet, forming a surreal forest of stone that looks almost extraterrestrial. Scientists call this a quartz sandstone peak forest, a landscape so rare that fewer than a handful exist on Earth. Moisture from deep ravines creates constant fog, wrapping the pillars in drifting curtains of cloud and giving viewers an ever-changing, almost floating world. Narrow cliff paths let visitors walk inches from vertical drops, offering views that shift dramatically with every step. And on one of the highest spires stands a small, solitary pavilion, an architectural gem balanced above the void, reminding travelers how human presence can feel tiny yet timeless in such an unreal landscape. Jinyun Shandu is defined by one spectacular landmark, a solitary sandstone pillar rising nearly 1,000 feet straight into the air. Shaped over tens of millions of years, this column is the result of relentless wind erosion, water sculpting, and tectonic uplift, creating a rock form so slender and vertical it looks engineered rather than natural. Around its base lies a peaceful river valley where a traditional village rests along the water's edge. The community is encircled by a slow, mirror-calm river that catches the reflection of the giant pillar like a painted scroll. Stretching across the water is a long stone bridge, crafted with arches that have stood for more than a century, guiding visitors into the heart of the landscape. Wooden boats drift quietly along the river, offering travelers a front-row view of the towering monolith, an experience that feels less like sightseeing and more like gliding through an ancient story written by nature itself. Rising like a frozen cathedral at the edge of the Himalayas, Meili Snow Mountain is one of China's most mysterious alpine giants, its highest peak soaring over 22,000 feet, into winds so cold they turn breath into crystals. Scientists say its glacial fields hold ice more than 10,000 years old, forming a natural climate archive that reveals ancient shifts in Earth's atmosphere. Here, winter rules nearly every season. Temperatures plunge well below zero, and storms sweep across ridgelines in minutes. Yet every year, determined travelers trek across powder-deep trails, leaving boot prints on untouched snow. At base camps, clusters of brightly colored tents glow against the white expanse like stars scattered across a silent planet. In this frozen world, nature feels raw, sacred, and impossibly alive, an untouched frontier where the line between challenge and wonder becomes beautifully thin. Mount Putuo. Rising from the East China Sea, Mount Putuo is a sacred island where geology, history, and devotion have intertwined for more than 1,000 years. Formed by ancient granite uplift, the island stretches roughly 5 square miles, yet houses over 100 temples, shrines, and pagodas, a remarkable density unmatched in China's coastal mountains. Scientists note that its cliffs contain mineral seams dating back over 60 million years, while historians trace pilgrimages here to the Tang dynasty. At the heart of the island stands the towering Guanyin statue, nearly 99 feet of bronze, watching over the waves like a guardian of compassion. Stone stairways carved directly into the mountainside lead to sky-facing pavilions, and temple roofs cling to ridges shaped by centuries of sea winds. Mount Putuo is more than a spiritual landmark. It is a living archive where nature and architecture have evolved together in extraordinary harmony. By Shishan Mountain. Carved by more than 100 million years of uplift and erosion, Baishishan Mountain is a natural laboratory of geology. Its signature sandstone pillars, some rising over 1,000 feet, stand like colossal stone needles piercing the northern sky. These formations were shaped grain by grain as wind, frost, and gravity sculpted their narrow spines and sheer faces. Visitors climb steep stairways anchored directly into the cliffs, with certain routes exceeding 300 steps in a single stretch. Each ascent reveals how ancient strata tilt, crack, and weather into the dramatic forms we see today. Baishishan is not just a mountain, it is a vertical archive of Earth's deep time, experienced step by pulse-quickening step. Wunu Mountain. Shaped by more than 60 million years of tectonic uplift, Wunu Mountain stands out for one extraordinary feature: its summit plateau, a massive rock table stretching like a natural stone megastructure. Geologists describe it as a fault block terrace, a rare formation created when colossal slabs of Earth's crust lifted almost evenly, leaving behind a flat crown bordered by vertical cliffs that plunge hundreds of feet. In the early morning, a vast sea of clouds washes around its edges, hiding the valleys below and making the great stone tabletop appear to float like an island in the sky. This atmospheric inversion occurs most often at elevations above 3,000 feet, where cool mountain air traps moisture into rolling white tides. By late autumn, the surrounding forests ignite with color as birch, maple, and oak shift into deep red and glowing orange, turning the entire massif into a luminous beacon against the mist. Wunu Mountain remains a place where geology, climate, and time carve out a landscape that feels both ancient and impossibly surreal. Chishui Dangxia. Shaped across more than 70 million years, Chishui Dangxia stands as one of China's most vivid geological masterpieces. Its mountains reveal steep cliffs and rounded ridges built from iron-rich sandstone, where every layer displays a distinct shade, from deep crimson to soft rose and burnt orange, like a natural canvas painted by tectonics and erosion. Water has carved its own signature here. Elegant waterfalls drop from heights of over 120 feet, spilling into jade-green pools that shimmer against the red rock. Dense subtropical forests wrap the landscape in green, and visitors often hike through thick bamboo and broadleaf canopies to reach the base of these falls, where the echo of rushing water fills the valley. Chishui Danxia is not just a geological wonder. It's a living textbook of Earth's slow, powerful artistry. Rising more than 9,000 feet above sea level, Mount Wutai is one of China's oldest sacred landscapes, shaped by millions of years of uplift and glacial carving. Its 5 flat peaks, each forming a natural terrace, create a rare, high-altitude basin where mist rolls like a white ocean at dawn. But the mountain's true marvel lies in its architecture. Over 50 ancient temples cling to the slopes, some built more than 1,200 years ago. Their wooden beams, fitted without nails, follow strict Buddhist geometry designed to align with the 5 wisdoms of Manjushri. Pagodas of stone and brick rise in graceful tiers, and prayer halls sit on elevated platforms engineered to withstand harsh winter winds. Mount Wutai is not only a geological wonder, it's a living archive of sacred design, where faith and landscape have been woven together for more than a millennium. Zagana. Hidden deep within the mountains of Gansu, Zagana is a secluded basin carved by millions of years of tectonic uplift and glacial erosion. The village sits at more than 9,000 feet, surrounded on all sides by towering limestone walls shaped like giant fortress ramparts. This isolated geography creates its own microclimate, where cool mist forms each morning as cold air sinks into the valley. The settlement itself feels almost untouched by time. Stone houses clustered tightly together to conserve heat, all connected by narrow lanes that follow the natural contours of the land. Reaching Zagana requires traveling a winding road that twists for nearly 10 miles, tracing sheer cliffs and deep river cuts. It is a place where geology dictates every aspect of life, and where the mountains feel less like scenery and more like protective guardians encircling a hidden world. Rising to more than 24,700 feet, Gongga Mountain, often called the King of Sichuan, is one of China's most extreme high-altitude environments. Its dramatic skyline is carved by ancient glaciers that continue to sculpt the landscape, creating deep U-shaped valleys and ice cliffs thicker than 170 feet. The region's climate is fiercely unpredictable. Warm air from the Sichuan Basin collides with frigid plateau winds, generating sudden snow squalls even in early summer. Scientists note that temperature drops of over 30 degrees can occur within minutes. In winter, vast sheets of blue ice coat the ridgelines, transforming the mountain into a frozen labyrinth. Trekkers navigating this world must move slowly, their breath crystallizing in the air as they traverse snowfields that reflect sunlight with near-blinding intensity. Gongga is not just a peak, it is a living laboratory of extreme weather and relentless geological power. Tianshan Grand Canyon. Carved over tens of millions of years by wind, water, and relentless geological uplift, the Tianshan Grand Canyon reveals a natural palette unlike anywhere else in China. Its towering sandstone walls glow in deep reds, burnt oranges, and subtle purples, colors created by iron-rich minerals oxidizing layer by layer. Many cliffs rise more than 300 feet, sculpted into narrow corridors, twisted ridges, and arches shaped by centuries of desert winds moving at nearly 40 miles per hour. Researchers describe the canyon as a textbook of Earth's erosional history, its rock strata reading like chapters of geological time. Reaching the canyon requires following winding desert trails where every turn reveals a new shape. Columns that resemble cathedral pillars, walls so close they let in only ribbons of light. Visitors often walk these paths in near silence, their footsteps echoing through natural chambers that amplify even the faintest sound. For travelers seeking to witness the raw artistry of nature and the power of geological time, Tianshan Grand Canyon offers an unforgettable journey into the Earth's ancient memory. High on the Tianshan Plateau lies Bayin Buluk, a grassland stretching for nearly 10,000 square miles, one of the largest alpine meadows in all of China. Its vast, bowl-shaped basin was shaped over 2 million years by glacial erosion, creating a landscape so open and sweeping that sound seems to vanish into the horizon. Here, nomadic culture is not a story of the past, but a living rhythm. Kazakh herders move with the seasons, guiding horses, sheep and cattle across grasses that can grow nearly 3 feet tall in summer. Their yurts, lightweight tents designed to be dismantled in under 1 hour, dot the plains like white pearls scattered beneath the sky. At dusk, the meadow glows gold, and livestock form slow, winding lines across the land, echoing patterns that have existed for centuries. For travelers, Bayan Buluke offers not just scenery, but a rare window into a timeless, nomadic world shaped by nature, endurance, and open space. Como Langma. Rising to 29,032 feet, Como Langma is the tallest point on Earth and one of its most unforgiving natural laboratories. Formed as the Indian plate collided with Eurasia more than 50 million years ago, the mountain is still rising a few millimeters each year. Its upper slopes remain locked in permanent ice, with summit temperatures dropping to -40 degrees and winds accelerating beyond 100 miles per hour. In this harsh, high-altitude world, oxygen levels fall to just 1/3 of what the human body expects. Yet every year, determined climbers push through the death zone, hauling gear, fixing ropes, and battling frostbite as they inch toward the peak. Each step is a test of endurance, science, and sheer willpower against the planet's most extreme mountain frontier. Kongtung Mountain, one of China's most sacred Taoist peaks, rises above the Loess Plateau like a natural fortress shaped by more than 200 million years of tectonic uplift and erosion. Its ridges twist into layered cliffs of sandstone and shale, creating a maze of terraces that once guided monks seeking spiritual isolation. At the summit, an extraordinary architectural network unfolds. More than 20 temples, pavilions, and ancient halls built directly into narrow ledges and steep stone outcrops. Many of these structures stand on foundations no wider than 3 to 4 feet, relying on interlocked wooden beams engineered to absorb mountain winds that can reach 60 miles per hour. Their golden roofs and red walls contrast sharply with the deep green forests below, creating a floating sanctuary above the clouds. Pilgrims climb thousands of steps, some carved over 1,000 years ago, following paths that blur the boundary between earth, sky, and the search for transcendence. Bakwan Gorge. Bakwan Gorge, carved over tens of millions of years by the relentless force of the Suakshu River, is a masterpiece of natural engineering where towering cliffs rise like sharpened blades on both sides. Its canyon walls, made of ancient limestone and red sandstone, narrow into dramatic corridors where the river twists through more than 6 miles of winding passage. From above, the water forms elegant S-shaped bends, evidence of powerful hydrological forces gradually sculpting the valley floor inch by inch. The region's terrain is defined by steep ravines and hanging cliffs, creating a labyrinth of terraces stacked along near vertical walls. A modern highlight is the river dam, a feat of engineering that stabilizes seasonal flows and reveals how human design can coexist with deep geological time. Visitors ascend stone stairways anchored directly into the cliff face, some only 2 to 3 feet wide, leading upward toward ancient temples perched on ledges that seem impossibly suspended over the water. Here, Bakwan Gorge becomes not just a landscape, but a living dialogue between earth, river, and the perseverance of those who dare to climb its sacred heights. Qianshan National Park. Perched across the ancient spine of Liaoning Province, Qianshan National Park rises like a living sculpture, its granite peaks carved by wind over tens of millions of years into narrow spires and smooth, wave-shaped domes. At its summit stands the famed Sky Buddha Temple, a mountaintop sanctuary whose wooden beams were lifted piece by piece using early pulley systems nearly 1,000 years ago. Visitors today climb over 1,000 stone steps, hugging sheer cliffs, where each turn reveals new geological forms shaped by tectonic uplift and glacial erosion. It is a place where nature's architecture and human devotion meet in breathtaking balance.